My name is Haley Patterson. I'm 31, and I had no idea my life was about to fracture before my eyes. I had left the office early, client meeting canceled, emails on pause, traffic unusually light. My condo felt like a quiet haven, a space I had inherited from my grandmother 2 years ago, a place paid off in full and utterly mine. I thought I would return to solitude, maybe a cup of tea and a quiet afternoon. I should have known. Peace never lasts long in my world. The moment I turned the key and pushed open the door, I sensed it before I even reached the bedroom. The scent, perfume, floral, too sharp, wafted through the air. My stomach knotted, a premonition I tried to ignore. Then I saw them. Evan, my boyfriend, in my bed, and Luna, my life coach, the woman I had trusted to guide me through my emotional chaos, my insecurities, my spiraling thoughts about career, love, and identity. Both of them tangled beneath my sheets, scrambling for anything that could cover them, their faces a mixture of panic and faux innocence. Time slowed. I couldn't breathe. My hands pressed against the doorframe as I took in the scene. Evan's eyes met mine first. "Haley, I can explain," he said, voice shaking. Not with fear, but with the practiced cadence of someone who thought they could talk their way out of the inevitable. I let him try. I stood there, oddly calm externally, while internally my mind exploded into 1,000 jagged pieces. Is this real? Am I awake? Or is this some cruel hallucination? Interesting. Meditation technique, I said, my voice steady but cold. Luna, already hastily tugging on a robe, glanced at me with a guilty smile, the kind that said, "Please don't hate me, I'm just exploring." "Haley, it's not what it looks like," Evan stammered. I didn't move. My voice was quiet but sharp, deliberate. "It looks like you were having sex with someone else, in our bed." Luna stepped back, adjusting her robe. "It's not cheating," she said, almost rehearsed. "It's spiritual exploration, feminine energy, masculine energy, energy work. It's..." "Stop!" My voice cut through the room like glass. "Just stop." And yet, even as I stood there, rage simmering just beneath the surface, I tried to understand. Energy work? Spiritual exploration? In my bed? My internal monologue cycled, relentless. Have I been blind? Was this premeditated? How long has this been going on? How could I have missed the signs? I noticed details. The faint scent of her perfume on Evan's collar, the small hotel receipts tucked in a drawer, the way his phone buzzed with synchronized notifications that didn't make sense. They were sloppy, but they weren't careless. My chest tightened, pulse hammering. Betrayal was a quiet, insidious poison, and it had invaded my sanctuary. Evan advanced a step. "Haley, babe, hear me out. It's not cheating. Luna and I, this is about energy, self-discovery. You wouldn't understand." I wanted to laugh, or scream, or collapse. Instead, I said nothing, letting the weight of the moment hang between us. "You've been exploring your feminine energy," he continued, words fumbling. "It's spiritual, not sexual, I promise." The nakedness in front of me was more than physical. It was a violation of trust, a cosmic joke played in my own sanctuary. My mind calculated, piece by piece, the impossibility of their story. Spiritual? Right. And I'm supposed to nod and applaud this performance of betrayal. I finally spoke, voice cold and unwavering. "You're being close-minded, Evan. It's 2024. Spirituality doesn't come with blanket immunity from morality. You chose this. You brought this into my home." Luna's eyes darted nervously. "Haley, we didn't mean harm." "I don't care about intent. I care about consequences." My hands clenched into fists. "You're leaving. Both of you. Now." They didn't move. They thought I was bluffing. But I was already 3 steps ahead. My mind raced to the condo's paperwork. My grandmother's deed, my proof of ownership, the fact that Evan was not on any lease, Luna was never a resident. This is my space. Not yours. Not his. My sanctuary. And you've violated it. The air was thick with disbelief, denial, and the faint echo of what had once been affection. I watched them scramble, the surreal absurdity of it all. My boyfriend, my trusted life coach, caught in a lie so grotesque it would have been comical if it weren't mine to suffer. I didn't shout. I didn't cry. I simply said, "Pack your things, both of you, get out." And that's when the first glimmer of strategy formed. If they resist, I have leverage. I own this space. Every inch of it belongs to me. I will not be gaslit. I will not be guilted. This ends now. Evan swallowed, attempting charm. Haley, don't be dramatic. It was a one-time experiment. You're overreacting. I shook my head slowly, letting each word land. One time, I don't negotiate morality. I don't negotiate betrayal. You're leaving. Luna's shoulders slumped. Haley, it's complicated. I let them process that for a moment. My internal monologue was merciless. Complicated? The word you want is cheating. You want it to feel spiritual so that guilt evaporates like mist. But I see clearly, and you will leave my home. That night, as they fled in panic, I stood in the silence of my bedroom, surrounded by the disarray of betrayal. Sheets rumpled, perfume lingering, the ghost of laughter and deceit clinging to the walls. And for the first time, a sense of clarity emerged from the storm. I will reclaim my space, my dignity, my life. This isn't over, not by a long shot. I picked up my phone and dialed Leo, my cousin and a lawyer, explaining the situation, my voice steady even as my heart hammered. No lease, no payment, no legal foothold for them. 30 days notice, and they're out. As I hung up, I looked around my room, the bed that had once been a symbol of comfort, now a battlefield. The betrayal had been revealed, raw and unignorable, and yet I felt strangely empowered. The first move had been mine. I didn't know what the coming days would hold, but one thing was certain: nothing would ever be the same. The next morning, the condo felt both familiar and alien. Sunlight streamed across the hardwood floors, illuminating the mess of yesterday's betrayal. Sheets tossed, a coffee cup half full, the faint scent of perfume lingering like a ghost. I walked through it all with the steady precision of someone who had made a decision. This house, this life, this space was mine, and it would remain mine. I called Leo, my cousin, again to finalize the legal details. She's not on the deed, right? He asked, voice clipped but calm. No, I confirmed. And no lease. She moved in 8 months ago, paid nothing formal, just contributed a little to groceries here and there. That's it. Leo's tone softened slightly, just enough for me to feel a flicker of hope. Okay. She's technically established residency, but you can serve a 30-day notice. I can draft it, professional, airtight. I hung up, feeling the first pangs of real control since discovering Evan and Luna. Control. That's what they underestimated when they brought chaos into my home. A few hours later, Evan returned, assuming, perhaps, that my shock had dulled into passive acceptance. He leaned casually against the counter, shirt slightly wrinkled, hair disheveled in that charming way I had once adored. Haley, he said, voice smooth, I've been thinking, maybe we can talk. We can work this out. I didn't even flinch. Talk? About what? My eyes were sharp, unyielding. About the fact that you slept with Luna in my bed? Or the fact that you're trying to spin betrayal into enlightenment? He tried a smile. It's complicated. You wouldn't understand. This isn't cheating. It's exploration. Spiritual, personal growth. You can't control everything. I stepped closer, calm but lethal in my intent. I'm not controlling. I'm enforcing boundaries. You're not leaving because I'm upset. You're leaving because you violated my home, my trust, and every implicit contract of decency. Luna appeared then, robes clinging awkwardly. Her voice was syrupy sweet, rehearsed. Haley, please, we didn't mean harm. What we shared was spiritual. He's helping me explore my feminine energy. You'll understand one day. I let out a laugh, low, cold, unamused. I understand perfectly. You're manipulating and deceiving. You are trespassing. Spiritually, emotionally, legally, and you're leaving. Evan's face hardened. You can't kick me out over one-time thing. I shook my head. It's not one time. It's one too many. And yes, I can kick you out. You're in my home. My name is on the deed. My name only. You moved in, free-riding my trust, my kindness, my space. The law and common sense backs me. I could see panic flicker across their faces, but I didn't let it soften me. My internal monologue kept me sharp. Don't let them bait you. Don't let them gaslight you. They're dangerous only if you doubt yourself. They thrive on confusion. Be the storm they cannot weather. Over the next few days, tension built like a taut wire ready to snap. Evan tried subtle manipulations, lingering touches that sought familiarity, faux apologies, whispered arguments about misunderstandings. Luna tried spiritual mediation, bringing up chakras, energy blocks, and cosmic interference. They both assumed I would crumble under moral gymnastics, but I didn't. I documented every interaction, every lie, every word twisted into a narrative that was not mine. My condo had become a war room, each corner a testament to strategy over chaos. Then came social manipulation. I caught them posting on Instagram. Luna painted herself as a victim of oppressive norms, a spiritual seeker punished by jealousy and possessiveness. Friends rallied in her defense, leaving comments about men who cannot handle empowered women. I didn't respond publicly yet, but internally I plotted. Spin all you want. The truth has a way of surfacing, and when it does, it will land harder than any post ever could. Meanwhile, my legal preparation progressed. Leo drafted the notice, precise and unassailable. I rehearsed my delivery in front of the mirror, my words smooth, controlled, yet undeniably sharp. The notice would be served tomorrow. I imagined their panic, the faces of entitlement and disbelief when they realized I wasn't bluffing. Evan approached me again that evening, attempting charm that was once effective. Haley, maybe I made a mistake. Let's just talk. Couples therapy? I felt a flicker of pity, quickly extinguished by reality. Couples therapy? We're not a couple. We're not negotiating mistakes. This was a choice, deliberate and selfish. I am not responsible for your self-discovery. You made a choice, I said quietly, almost gently. I made a decision. I'm reclaiming my home. You're leaving. End of story. Luna, sensing her influence slipping, tried a last-ditch appeal. Haley, you're blocking our energy. We're seekers. Seekers need freedom to explore. This isn't personal. You're holding us back. I smiled, slow and cold. No, I'm blocking your residency. That's my boundary, my space, my rules. You are free to seek elsewhere, just not here. The room went silent, a tense, suffocating silence that smelled of perfumed panic and moral defeat. Evan looked at me, confusion and shock etched across his face. Luna's hands trembled slightly as she adjusted her robe. My internal monologue hummed like a drumbeat. This is just the beginning. You wanted to test me. Fine, let's see who bends first. That night, as I lay awake in my own bed, my sanctuary now fortified by strategy, I replayed every detail, the smell of perfume, the scattered sheets, the whispered justifications, the casual assumptions they made about my reaction. I cataloged each breach of trust, each manipulation, each lie, and I realized the betrayal was only the first step. The real challenge was psychological warfare, and I was ready. They brought chaos into my home. They underestimated me. Big mistake. And with that thought, I finally slept. Not peacefully, but strategically, with every nerve alert, every instinct sharp. Tomorrow, the battle would begin in earnest. The condo, once a refuge, had transformed into a stage for chaos, a theater of entitlement and gaslighting. The air was thick with the residue of betrayal. Every corner seemed to whisper of last week's shock. Yet I moved through it with deliberate calm, the calm of someone who knows the battlefield is hers to command. My plan was simple, legal, moral, and absolute. I had served the 30-day notice. Evan and Luna protested with predictable outrage. You can't do this, Haley, Evan said, pacing the living room. We're partners. You can't just evict me over one mistake. Luna, now fully in performance mode, added, Haley, think of the energy. You're blocking our flow, interfering with growth. This is spiritual. I let them talk. My internal monologue cataloged every word, every inflection, every attempt to manipulate. Spin all you want. You're not in control. I am. Their strategy quickly became predictable. First came pleas for mediation. Luna positioned herself as the rational voice, attempting to reframe the encounter as a misunderstanding, a misalignment of energies. Evan leaned in, trying the charm offensive, a faint apologetic smile that once would have disarmed me. But I was ready. I recorded everything, every word twisted, every pause, every attempt at manipulation. I documented their comings and goings, the proof of betrayal now a tool to maintain authority. My condo wasn't just a home anymore, it was my war room. Then came social media manipulation. Luna painted herself as a victim, a seeker punished by jealousy and possessiveness. Friends rallied in her defense, messaging about toxic societal norms and men who cannot handle empowered women. I didn't respond immediately. I waited, observing. Every post, every comment, every lie became part of my dossier. The first strike came the following evening. Evan tried to reclaim intimacy, creeping into the space of our shared history. "Haley, remember how good we were?" he murmured, soft and insidious. I shook my head slowly, letting the past become a ghost behind the present reality. "I remember you with Luna," I said quietly, almost lethally calm. "That's what I remember. You made a choice. And now you have to face the consequences." Their next move was psychological warfare. Luna attempted guilt trips, painting me as controlling, selfish, and closed-minded. Evan feigned panic, attempted tears, and even claimed that leaving would destabilize Luna's spiritual progress. I cataloged it all, every word, every expression. They assume chaos will fracture me, but control is my ally. They tried fake emergencies next. Luna claimed a sudden spiritual crisis, a panic attack that required immediate attention. Evan amplified it, frantic and pleading. My mind raced. Check, validate, confirm. I called local hospitals. Nothing. No patient admitted. They were lying, testing me, hoping I'd react. I didn't. Calm, precise, documented. By day 6, the condo was fully a battlefield. Luna and Evan escalated, bringing strangers into the space to test boundaries, loud music in the dead of night, chaotic energy designed to intimidate. I knocked, clear and authoritative. "Keep it down. This is still my home for 22 more days." The strangers left, confused. Luna and Evan fumed. Next came the nuclear options. Luna attempted social media sabotage, posting fabricated stories of abuse and emergency housing needs. I responded subtly, carefully. Documented videos of their own betrayals, texts proving presence and intent, photos of their chaotic behavior. Slowly, the narrative began to crumble in the public eye. Evan tried to establish fake legitimacy, packages delivered in his name, voter registration, library cards, tiny attempts at establishing residency. Leo shut each one down. Nice try, I thought. 30-day notice still stands. They tried guilt one last time, reaching for emotional blackmail. "Haley, I have nowhere to go. I'll be on the streets." I felt the sharp edge of empathy, just for a moment, then cut it off. "Your parents have a home. Luna can shelter you if she wants, but here, not here. My boundaries are non-negotiable." By day 10, the chaos peaked. Lists of my address appeared on public forums, strangers knocking, inquiries about free meditation space. Every tactic was designed to destabilize me, to force me into submission. But I was immovable. I documented everything. I anticipated their moves. And through it all, my internal monologue became my anchor. This is not personal weakness. This is moral clarity. You sought chaos. You found structure. You tested me, and I am ready. As day 15 approached, the final showdown loomed. Eviction day was near. The anticipation was cinematic. Leo, the lawyer, would arrive, locksmith in tow, and the eviction would be executed with precision. The chaos they had sown, the psychological manipulation, the gaslighting, all would meet reality. For the first time since discovering their betrayal, I allowed a small sense of satisfaction to settle over me. They brought storms into my home, but I am the weather that cannot be moved. And in the quiet moments, I reflected on the irony. In trying to control me, to manipulate me, Evan and Luna had underestimated one thing: the clarity of someone who refuses to compromise their boundaries, someone who refuses to be gaslit, someone who refuses to accept betrayal as a lesson rather than a violation. The final battle was coming, and I would stand, steady, unwavering, ready to reclaim not just my home, but my peace. Eviction day arrived like a quiet storm. I woke early, the sunlight spilling across the condo, bathing everything in gold, serene, and almost mocking after weeks of chaos. Today, the battle would end, and I would reclaim my home completely. At 8:00 a.m., Leo arrived, impeccably dressed in a dark suit, accompanied by a locksmith. The air was thick with anticipation, the kind that presses down on your chest but sharpens your focus. I stood behind the lawyer, calm and collected, the full weight of justice and preparation behind me. Evan and Luna were still in the bedroom when we arrived. Evan's eyes widened as Leo stepped forward. "Ma'am," Leo began, voice professional, measured, "the notice period has expired. You are required to vacate the premises immediately." Luna's face paled, her rehearsed calm cracking. "This is illegal," she protested, voice rising. Leo didn't flinch. "It's legally sound. 30-day notice, no lease, no written agreement. You are being asked to leave." Evan tried one last plea, a faint charm offensive, trembling slightly. "Haley, can't we work something out?" I shook my head slowly, letting the moment settle like dust. "There's nothing to work out. You made your choice. This is my home. You're leaving." As the locksmith began changing locks, I watched them scramble to collect their belongings, crumpled clothes, scattered personal effects, Luna's meditation journals. They filmed, panicked and defiant, while I recorded, every frame a testament to their failed manipulations. Even as they left, there was no dignity in their departure, just chaos, confusion, and entitlement unfulfilled. I felt a quiet satisfaction, but not vengeance. I had reclaimed what was mine, and that was enough. The aftermath was surreal. For the first time in weeks, the condo was quiet. Peace settled like a gentle weight across my shoulders. I cleaned, reorganized, restored the bedroom to its original calm. I adopted another dog, small and energetic, filling the space with warmth instead of chaos. Social media, once a battlefield, became a mirror reflecting their failures. Luna distanced herself publicly, posting vague statements about avoiding chaotic energy, and Evan's sense of entitlement crumbled under the quiet weight of consequence. The narrative shifted. The public could see what I had documented all along: betrayal, manipulation, and moral clarity. Weeks passed. I rebuilt my life quietly but fully. The condo, my sanctuary, became a place of creation, reflection, and calm. Every object, every corner reminded me that I had reclaimed not just a physical space, but emotional sovereignty. And then came the messages, old contacts, new numbers. Evan trying again, claiming he had grown, that he understood monogamy now, that there could be us again. I didn't even pause. One word sufficed: blocked. My internal monologue reflected on the past month. Betrayal had come in the most intimate form, in the place I should have felt safest. But through strategy, clarity, and resolve, I had transformed that pain into empowerment. I thought of Luna, Evan, and their desperate attempts to manipulate me. I thought of the chaos, the social media posts, the guilt trips, the fake emergencies, and I realized nothing they did could take what I had claimed: the knowledge of my own boundaries, the power of my own decisions, and the sanctuary of my home. The condo was silent, filled with the quiet hum of life I had chosen. I brewed my tea, settled onto my couch with the dog at my side, and let the warmth seep into me. For the first time in weeks, I felt safe, untroubled, unchallenged. Victorious not through aggression, but through clarity and moral resolve. I reflected on the journey. Betrayal revealed, manipulations countered, chaos neutralized. In reclaiming my home and my peace, I had learned something vital about trust, boundaries, and the power of steadfastness. I had navigated the storm and emerged whole. And in that quiet, luminous morning, I understood it fully. Life continues, betrayal fades, but the strength you find in your own clarity is eternal.